I'm Kimberly with the Fat Quarter Shop, and we're here with Annie from ByAnnie's, and she's going to show us how to make quick and easy placemats. So tell me about your placemats.
These are really fun. I love using soft and stable in my placemats because it gives them good body and stability. You can throw them in the washer and dryer and they come out looking brand new time after time. You can see this one that's made with soft and stable has a lot of structure to it compared to the one that I made with batting that's going to be flimsy as soon as I wash it.
Yeah, and this is going to be a great sew as you go pattern, and the free pattern is on the back of your soft and stable project packs, which you can find at Fat Quarter Shop. So let's get started.
All right, let's learn to make some placemats. Really simple and easy. These are just quilt as you go, flip and sew, whatever you want to call it, but simple and easy to make. Normally when you do quilt as you go, you put your 3 layers together. So you'd have your backing, your batting, and you'd sew on top, sewing through all layers. With placemats, I like to just leave my backing off until my whole placemat is assembled and add my backing at the end, so I have a perfectly reversible placemat that looks as nice on the back as it looks on the front. Because Soft and Stable has a nice napped fabric lining on both sides of it, I can use it as my foundation. It's not going to get caught on my feed dogs. It's not going to stretch as I go. It's going to make it really simple and easy to make these placemats. And when I'm done, they're going to have great body, stability. They're going to wash and wear beautifully. You're just going to love them. So in your Soft and Stable project pack, you've got a free pattern for this easy placemat. So you're just going to follow the directions that are on the pattern for cutting your pieces and get all the pieces cut out of your fabric, your backing. Your Soft and Stable is already die cut in just the right size to make your mat. And then you're going to mark some lines on the Soft and Stable so that you can get that center piece lined up and marked. When I mark, I like to use the Clover Choco Liner markers. There's a little wheel in the bottom that makes the chalk come out, and it makes just a really fine line that is easy to get rid of and makes it not something that's going to be permanent. I like to use the blue when I'm working on white Soft and Stable because it's easy to see. So we're just going to mark a line in from each side, and that's going to be the line for us to align our center piece of fabric. And it's not that one, it's this one right here. Nope, it's not that one either. Which one is it? This one, way down at the bottom. So one of them's a little bit narrower, the other 2 are a little bit wider. That's how the math has to work to make it cover it all. So we're just going to put that in place. You can put some pins. Actually, you don't want to put any pins into that. You're going to wait until you have the next piece on top, and then you're going to put a few pins in and sew that with a 1/4 inch seam. When I'm sewing, if you have a walking foot, that's probably the easiest because it's going to make everything move really nice and even. On my machine, the walking foot has such a wide opening that it's hard for me to know when I'm getting a really accurate 1/4 inch seam. So I like to use my 1/4 inch foot, and then I use my stiletto to kind of give me the action of a walking foot. As I'm sewing, I just sew I hold the stiletto right along the fabric as I go, keeping the layers from shifting and moving away from me. And then when I'm done, my seam is nice and even and everything's ready to go. So I'm going to sew that piece on, and then I'm going to sew one on the other side. It's going to look like this. And then I'm going to go press those. Because Soft and Stable is polyester, it's easy to iron it. You don't want to have your iron too hot, so set it at a polyester setting, and you'll just press each of these seams to set them and then fold them over and press them out. Because it's not fusible, you're not going to worry about it sticking to your iron and getting your iron all gummed up. After those 2 pieces are on, you'll take your next piece, sew it in place with your 1/4 inch seam, press it out, and keep going until you've got the whole top of your mat assembled. As I'm doing this stitch on here, I use a regular stitch length from 2.5 to 2 3/4 to 3, somewhere in that range, to do my stitching. Get it all pressed, and then I'm going to trim this so it's nice and even all the way around. Use your ruler and your rotary cutter, measure it to get it nice and even, and you're going to trim that to about 13 by 18 or a little bit smaller if things have gotten smaller on you. Then you're going to be ready to add your backing. And we're going to cut our backing bigger all the way around by 1 inch. We're going to center our prepared placemat on top of our backing so that we have an even inch going all the way around. And the way I found that's easiest to do this is to make a little corral with my rulers so that I'm aligning the 1 inch line of the ruler on each side of the mat, on a couple sides, on the bottom, and then I can just drop my mat in place in there. Because the Soft and Stable has so much nap to it, if you try to move it as you go, you end up moving your backing out of the way. So having the little corral really helps to line it up. So you want to have it centered evenly within your Soft and Stable, or your backing fabric, which is your back of your placemat, which is going to come around and make your binding. And then you're going to sew 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around to join those. After you've got those joined, you're going to start working on your binding. And to do that, we're going to begin by folding the raw edges of our backing in to meet the edge of the placemat on the top and bottom, and then do the same thing on the sides. And then we're ready to stitch it down. And we're going to begin stitching all the way at the outside edge, stitch all the way across here, all the way to this outside edge. That gets your top done. You'll do exactly the same thing on the bottom. So you'll stitch from here all the way to here. And then once that's stitched down, you can fold your sides over, bring those in, and stitch from top to bottom on those. And this is another time where using your stiletto really helps, because you can hold that right in place until your needle gets in position and you can start stitching. When I do this, I like to put my needle down about right here, and then I back stitch out, and then I come back down so that I'm not trying to start stitching out on the edge where all of that bulk is. So needle down, back stitch, and then come down. And then when you get to this end, you've already got this in place. You're going to fold this over. You're going to make sure all your raw edges are even under there. And again, I stitch to the outside and then come back and finish here so I can trim my fabrics there. And that's how simple it is to make a placemat using Soft and Stable. Let me show you a few other patterns that are for purchase patterns that use Soft and Stable for placemats. This was my first placemat pattern, and this was one of the very first patterns that I designed for using Soft and Stable. When I introduced it at market several years ago, I wanted something simple and easy that stores could take home, introduce to their customers, and I thought, what would be easier than a placemat made with a jelly roll? So this is called Set a Pretty Table, and it's designed to be made with 2.5 inch strips from a jelly roll. So some of them you leave at 2.5 inch, a few you cut a little bit narrower for your inner border, and you do the fold over backing just like we did on the free placemat pattern. So Set a Pretty Table, 1 jelly roll makes 8 placemats. This pattern is another really fun one, and also a good one to use some strips from a jelly roll and maybe a fat quarter or a fat eighth to do these. And the backings can all be made with fat quarters. So if you've got some fat quarter packs, these are perfect for making a variety of placemats that all blend, but each one is a little bit different. This includes 2 different styles. This one has some long strips that are various sizes, one background that's consistent through them all, although you could switch that up and use different fabrics back there, and then again the backing that comes around and makes the front. You can look on the back here and see how you've got another totally different look with your placemat. So you've got the back ready to go. And something that I forgot to mention, because Soft and Stable doesn't have to be quilted, we didn't include our backing around here. So if you look, when I pull this away, the Soft and Stable is only attached on the outside edges, but when I let go, it's like a magnet. It pulls it back into place, hugs it, and holds it there, and you've just got a really nice double look for your placemat. The second version that's in the Simple Strips placemat has a nice focus fabric in the center and then strip pieces on each side with a little inset strip border on the inside. So those are really fun ones to do as well. The last placemat pattern that I brought to show you today is called Easy Flip and Sew pattern, or placemats. And this one, again, you start by doing your flip and sew down here. You add a couple borders, you add your piece at the top, and you've got a nice look there. And then this one has the strips going down the side. All of these are done using the flip and sew technique. So you use your soft and stable as your foundation. You mark some lines so you know you're getting things lined up in the right places and all your pieces are going to fit. You do this flip and sew stitching first, add these little borders, add the outside pieces, and then add your outside border. On these we added some quilting lines in the middle here to give it a little extra interest, and that's always a fun technique to do as well. Soft and stable is so simple and easy to sew with, quilt through. You're going to love using it, and you're going to love being able to change your placemats, the look on your table, for any holiday or special occasion or just for every day. Have fun sewing placemats with Soft and Stable.